Hey everybody, happy Monday morning to you guys. I have a question for you. How many of you guys have ever been in a situation where maybe you think back on a time that happened in your life when you didn't speak up, but you know that you should have, and maybe you live with some sense of regret because of that, or maybe you spoke up and you were misunderstood. I believe that God gets misunderstood or gets mischaracterized or gets mistaken quite often. People tend to take the characteristics of God, that He is a jealous God, that He is a vengeful God, and they turn it around to make God almost seem evil, when in reality, that's what makes God who He is. And we should actually be thankful for who He is. Here's the situation. They say statistically a father, which this is to you fathers, this is the importance of being a father. They say statistically a father who upholds himself in a respectable manner, statistically the idea that his kids will one day be hurt or taken advantage of or be misused, or someone would come and hurt their kids, statistically it drops. The chances of that happening drops when the father is a present and respectable person who carries himself in the right way. That is just like who God is. Yes, God is vengeful. Yes, God is wrathful. He is to protect His children. And I believe sometimes He gets misunderstood and sometimes that gets misconstrued and taken out of context. But I am so thankful that God is who He is. There was a quote recently of a man that said of another evil character, he said, "How could you do this to my children?" And that evil man said back to him, he said, "It's because you allowed me to." It's because the father was so non-confrontational, he didn't stand up for what was right. Well, God will not have that be said of Him. And I love this passage in Psalms chapter 97. I'll close this week with this passage. It says this: "The Lord reigns, let the earth be glad. Let the distant shores rejoice as His clouds and thick darkness surround Him. Fire goes before Him and consumes His foes on every side. His lightning lights up the world. The earth sees and trembles. The mountains, they melt like wax before the Lord. Before the Lord of all the earth, the heavens proclaim His righteousness, and all people will see His glory." That is the power and the magnitude of God, that His fire consumes His foes on every side. That's who God is, and He's that way to protect His children. He's not a non-confrontational father. He's a father who will stand up and do what's right, and a father who protects His children. So may we be people of a similar character, who are always willing to do what's right, who are always willing to speak up when necessary.